Hello again, and welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf here with Eric Sfiligoj in that
The undisclosed location.
indeed we are in the undisclosed location. That's too. Thanks for joining us this week. It's busy out there. We know you folks are still cranking. We've heard great things in general about the crop out there. I know there's some pockets of problems, but Eric, seems like things are moving apace for retailers and for farmers in the Midwest.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Paul, we got some more good news on that front. I know we talked a couple videos ago about the fact that despite all the tension going on between the U.S. and China, that China had purchased $1 billion worth of cotton and several 100,000 tons of soybeans. Well, now the other row crops are getting into the game as well. Heard this week that China purchased 320,000 tons of winter and spring wheat combined, and even better news, 765,000 tons of corn has been purchased by China. And according to the report I read, that is the second largest purchase ever by the Chinese government of U.S. corn shipments. So again, if you're in row crops, seems like even without a trade deal, the Chinese have an appetite for what we are producing.
Yeah, let's hope recent tensions don't put a damper on that. We've got a lot of declarations with Hong Kong going on, and there's a lot of political issues. So hopefully that won't serve to deep six anything later on. Although it certainly is tense with what's going on over there.
Yep. So again, Paul, we've been talking for many, many videos now as we've been in the undisclosed locations because of COVID-19 and our offices and studios being shut down. And I know that earlier videos we talked about how all the out there summer shows that ag retailers tended to go to during the months of July and August were coming off the table. We had, Farm Progress and Husker Harvest Days and MAGIE all basically say, no, we're not going to hold in-person events. And this week we found out that the Farm Science Review can be added to that list. The show's been held about 60 years now in London, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. But this year, for the first time in 6 decades, they've decided they're not going to hold an in-person event, and it'll be going virtual with details to come still on that. So again, Paul, another one off the table. Based on my information, that shows the only outdoor event left on my calendar would be the Sunbelt Ag Expo in Moultrie, Georgia in the middle of October. So we'll have to see if that actually takes place or not. A lot of calendar between now and then, but again, as everything else in 2020 when it comes to in-person events, we will have to see.
Yeah, it's rough not being able to see everybody, but that's kind of the reality of the rest of the year. I think is we'll probably continue to see more. Of course, all these cancellations are unfortunate, and we hate to see these shows go away. But companies are continuing to market products, or developing products, and things are coming out. We got word from Helm that a new herbicide called Reviton for pre-plant burn down and desiccation as a new active ingredient as part of a PPO inhibitor, which, again, it's exciting to see more herbicide products coming around. FMC has a new indoxacarb formulation, Avant Evo, mostly for specialty crops and lepidopteran pests. So products continue to come out, and we're also seeing a lot of interest in technology, products being released. And with the dearth of conferences, we've offered a new service called the PrecisionAg Tech Hub, which we'll be releasing later this month. If you're interested in that, again, it's going to be for the general agriculture stakeholder in the industry. There's going to be a lot of information on new products, so you can come and find out. If you're interested in that, if you have products you'd like to display, we have options for you to come and join in that. Hopefully on the screen we're showing a little example of some of the things that we're doing. So give some options both for marketing products and for coming to see what's new. So we welcome you to take a look at that and participate in kind of the discussion and the product releases in a virtual way.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Paul, because I know, as we've pointed out, that despite the disruptions that have gone on in the general market because of the coronavirus pandemic, that agriculture has continued to move forward basically in the marketplace without too many disruptions per se, and in the producing of the crop, planting of the crop, and hopefully the harvesting of the crop. But also there is an appetite for new products, as you've pointed out. And actually, just to give us a shameless plug, I know since there have not been trade shows where folks can see some of this stuff for themselves in person, the August issue of CropLife magazine is our annual buyer's guide. So if you get that issue, you should be able to see a lot of the new products that are coming into the marketplace for the 2020 fall and 2021 spring seasons. And also along those lines, CropLife Iron. July-August edition is our MAGIE in print edition, where all companies that would have been at the annual MAGIE show actually highlighted some of the things they would have had on hand, and you can see them in person. You can at least read about them in the pages of our magazine, and then check out some websites to get more information later.
Absolutely. We soldier around and do the best we can. I guess the last thing I have for the group here is been a lot of activity on broadband internet, a lot of discussion of, from a standpoint of the government and government assistance and coalitions and so forth. So Land O'Lakes is now working with Microsoft and going to be working kind of on a broadband alliance, which they're trying to find ways to incorporate Microsoft technology and get it out into the masses and allow for better data exchange, for tracking and recording data on insects and pests and a lot of other things. Just recently, I think it was literally announced this week, so we'll see a lot more about what's going on there. Microsoft has been very hot to get into the agriculture market, has been kind of honing the technology, honing what they bring, and now it's coming down to selecting partners. And I think Land O'Lakes is certainly an interesting partner for them to choose, and getting these two together to see where it goes. Also along the same lines, there's a new coalition of I think it's almost 50 businesses and organizations called the American Connection Project Broadband Coalition. So essentially they're looking to push broadband, but they're looking at it in more broadly beyond agriculture. But there's also there's healthcare institutions, there's financial institutions, technology companies, there's food production companies. So they're attacking it both from an agriculture standpoint and from a broader standpoint. As we all know, it's not just agriculture in rural America. There's hospitals, there's schools, there's other large industries that would benefit from having better access to broadband. And if we get all those folks together in the same room singing from the same hymnal, so to speak, can help to push broadband even farther along, hopefully faster, with more of an investment. So that's very good news as well.
Mentioning the word hymnal, I guess I can say is amen.
Amen. Well, I haven't. That's a first. That's a first group prayer here. So I think that's it for this edition of CropLife Retail Week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.